I'm home. Welcome back to my channel. I am so appreciative of the beautiful fall weather that we're having. It's absolutely splendid. Kevin and I went for a little country drive the other day. We do that a lot. Drove around all to the old farms and looked at the animals and the horses and the cows, and these tickled us to death. They just stared at us. This one looked like he wanted to charge us. He was having his meal and we were bothering him. But we were driving around and I thought I'd show you this. I think I've showed it to you before. It's Baltimore Hill. And this is the last home that's in Baltimore, the town of Baltimore, Indiana. They call it Baltimore Hill. It's a beautiful old brick home that ivy's grown up on now, which I don't like. I wish they'd pull that off so I can see the red brick. But they plant corn all around it, and it's on the Wabash River. Right behind it's the river, and that's where they used to do all their transportation and bring in all the goods in the 1800s. And there was a little town there, and this is all that's left of it, one home. And I guess the railroad came through, and that took care of the transportation on the river. But this cornfield to the north of this house is where the little town was. And there's old maps online. You can go look at it, Baltimore, Indiana, and it'll show the little map of the couple streets that they had and the big old homes. But they're all gone now. And Baltimore Hill's just one big old brick house. And do you think I'm out manifesting a big old 2-story home? Yeah, I'm always doing that. And I'm trespassing because to manifest you got to touch things. So I had to go up and touch things, and a friend of mine lives down the hill from this house, and she gave me all the info I needed, and it doesn't sound real promising to be able to buy it, but it's a pretty old home. And that little opening there, my husband may have trespassed in there and looked at the back of the house and checked it out, and we didn't get caught. But we have found out who the owner is, and we're going to look into it. But we're just dreaming. But I had to do some manifesting. And then I drove around a little bit, or we did, and this thing was lit up. And I'm not crazy about these kinds of decorations, but I know kids love them. And these people had put some work into it, so I wanted to show them to you. Then on our way down Old 63, which used to be the major highway that came through our town, now they have a new highway. I said, Kevin, I've got to take a picture of this for my people because it may not be here someday. This old, we call it the old blue bulldozer, has been sitting here since I was a little kid. I used to go to a friend's house, and when we went by on the bus, there was a big old house there, and some kids lived there that we knew. And I asked one of them recently if they know what the story is behind this, and they said, nope, somebody just left it parked there, and it broke down apparently, and it's just been there forever. And it's turquoise colored. I thought that was an odd color, and I think it's a bulldozer. You guys tell me if it's something else. We think it's a bulldozer. And it's been sitting there forever, and we look at it when we go by every single time. The house is long gone, and they just farm around it and cut the grass, and I wish they'd cut the weeds, but I think for as long as it's been there, and I mean, I'm talking when I was in 3rd or 4th grade in the early 70s, that's how long this thing's been there. So I wanted to take a picture of it in case it's never there someday, which would be surprising to me. And then I got out my totes. I think I have about 3 totes of fall stuff. I got it packed in there pretty tight. And I decorated my bar cart with just a little velvet pumpkin. And then I got out the 8-inch deep table that I made to go behind my couch in the front window and put some of my colored glass in the window. Now, I think I've discovered that our window has a very light tinted film on it. You can't really see it, but when you're outside, you can't see in our window. Like Kevin will say, I think I saw someone come up on the porch. You can kind of see a shadow of someone, but you can't really tell who they are. So I don't think this glass is in danger of fading out because of that. But I'll probably put this stuff back on my coffee table and put some clear glass in the window. But for fall, I thought I'd put them in the window for a while, and they look really pretty. And I put a little, this is that little vase or candle holder I got at Cora's place a couple years ago when I went to Rockville. Got it for 50 cents, and it's just beautiful. And I used it for a vase here and put some gold and orange roses in it, and it's just beautiful. I just spilled my pop, and it went all the way down my leg and up around my rear. It's cold. And I put one of those little light bulbs in it that kind of flickers, and it's really pretty because at night it just flickers so pretty. You can't really tell here in the daytime, but I didn't know it flickered. I probably got the light bulb at a thrift store. I don't know. But it's really pretty. And when you come around the curve, it looks like a little candle. And it's pretty. Like I said, I think I'll take the gold stuff out in about 2 weeks or so, and I'll put some clear glass, and I'll put all that stuff back on my coffee table. But I wanted you guys to see how it looks in the window, and I've got a picture of it later in the video of what it looks like at night. And then I went out to my shop the other day. My shop's called Everything Old, Country Store and Gifts. And I thought I'd take a few pictures for you of some fall decorations I put around. There's a Christmas globe there I didn't know was sitting out. And you know me, I like to tuck things around. I went to a yard sale the other day, and I'll tell you about that later in the video, but I got this book on typewriting, and it's so cool, but it got wet, and all the pages are stuck together, and it's in really bad shape. But I think what I'm going to do is take the good pages and make some tags with it and maybe frame some of them. I used to love typing class. That was one of my favorite classes ever, and now we don't have to know how to type at all. Well, I guess we kind of do if we're using a laptop, but I thought I'd show you some of the little decorations I tucked here and there. Hello everyone, I'm out in my store today. It's a Sunday and it's about 2 o'clock, and I'm out here. You're going to hear Ricky Van Shelton singing gospel music in the background. I hope I talk loud enough I can drown him out a little bit so I don't get a copyright. I think it would be better if I let you listen to Ricky Van Shelton because it would sell some of his records. I'm going to show you the cover of that CD here in a minute. It's one of my favorites of all time, and I have worn out the CD, the cassette, whatever they came on, and I listened to it I listened to his song, The Old Rugged Cross, every morning while I'm having breakfast and getting ready for the day. Every day I listen to it. I never get tired of it. And I don't know why they copyright everything. I know it's so they can make money, but oh my gosh, if you guys could hear him singing, you'd go out and buy that CD in an instant. It is so good. But anyway, I'm in a thrift store the other day, and they had a bunch of CDs, and the top CD that was on the top of the box was that one. So I bought it, and I have it out here in my store now because I've worn it out in my truck, and I'll probably need to buy another one for my truck. Now, anyone that knows me well knows that Ricky Van Shelton is my favorite country performer, probably ever. He's got the most beautiful voice, and this record album or CD is called Ricky Van Shelton, Don't Overlook Salvation. And every single morning, probably for about 3 years, I listen to his song, The Old Rugged Cross, as I'm getting ready for the day. When I'm washing my face and putting on my makeup, I've got this song playing. I love it. You guys, you don't even have to buy this. You can just go on YouTube and look it up. Ricky Van Shelton, The Old Rugged Cross, Family Bible, I Shall Not Be Moved. There's such good music on this, and it's beautiful from start to finish. And Ricky I think he sounds like Elvis myself. And I love country music, and I love all kinds of music. But there's something about Ricky Van Shelton that I've always loved, and I'd like for you guys to listen to him if you haven't already. This is Brad's Vinkavine that he absolutely hates. It's covering the whole front of his house. And as you can see, it's out over the sidewalk. And I told him they charge a lot for Vinkavine in the stores. He hates it, but I come down here and dig it out for my plants. And the more you dig out, the faster it grows. So we're going to take a little tour of Brad's house. I call it the deer den because Brad loves deer. And his mother was my sister-in-law, and she was a avid garage sailor and thrifter like myself, and through the years her and I got him a lot of these things. He's got a china cabinet as soon as you walk in his door just full of beautiful deer, and he likes animals. He's got these artisan made rabbits. They're real heavy, and these birds, I don't know what the birds are, but they're real heavy. He bought those from an artist that actually made them. And I was at Walmart a couple years ago, and they had these little deer plates, so I brought one and put cookies on it and gave it to him for Christmas, and he put it on a little easel and displays it in his china cabinet. I think this is on top of his china cabinet. But Brad loves his deer, and he's so proud of them, and there's not one deer that he doesn't like. Now, he did tell me to kind of quit because he's got so many, but through the years we've picked him up collector's plates, different coffee mugs. He's got tumblers. Just about anything we see that's got a deer on it, we'd buy it for Brad. And Brad keeps an immaculate home. He's amazing. He loves to clean and he likes everything neat and orderly. And this is a paint by number that he had done. He likes to do that in the wintertime. And this is my favorite one that he did. He made this one last year. In the winter, when he was snowed in, he likes to do a paint by number. So we ordered that off of Amazon because I wanted him to have a big one. And it's beautiful. And he needs a frame for it. He hates this frame. So I was on the lookout for a frame and I found one. And you'll see that in a little bit. But I was looking through his china cabinet and I said, Brad, these cups are neat. I said, you got like 12 of them. He said, you gave them to me. And I must have found them at a thrift store years ago because I don't remember it. But he takes such pride in his stuff and he's the kind of person, if you have given him something, he remembers it forever and he won't get rid of it. And these are some blankets that he has. And he has a beautiful deer tree that he keeps up all year long. And of course he decorates it at Christmas time. But when I found out that he had a little deer tree, I started picking him up deer ornaments everywhere I went, and he's got several that he puts on at Christmas time. A deer tree?
Yeah, my deer's on it.
I like that picture up there.
Yeah, I think I bought that for a long time, home tour a long time ago.
Where'd you get the pictures for your deer tree? Or those little deer?
But you made them.
I made them?
Yeah, here you made that one on the refrigerator.
And there's another
Yeah,
picture.
I think Mom bought that for me too. I think.
So he reminded me that I made him those little pictures. I probably made them years ago and don't even remember it. And there's another one, but he wanted some magnets for his refrigerator, so I took some deer images and made him some magnets. He doesn't like anything around that doesn't have something to do with something that he loves. So like I said, I found him some deer, and now right now it's just got the few pictures on it, but at Christmas time, I'll show you it later. He'll have it full of deer. And these are some lamps that he has that have deer on them. And this is a pretty sculpted relief thing. It kind of sticks out. It's real pretty. And he's just got all kinds. We tried to count them and we lost count. And in his kitchen he has this pretty bread box that has deer engraved in it and painted. And then he said that I gave him this last fall, and he doesn't use it. He just brings it out in the fall and he's going to hang it on his cabinet drawer or whatever. And I said, Brad, I don't remember getting you that. And he said, you did. He said, you gave it to me last fall. And now he thinks about that, and he brought that out, and he knows I made it. I gave it to him. And then he's just got lots of pictures. I don't think I've ever passed up a deer picture if it's a pretty one in a store. And he did tell me to lay off of him because he's got enough. But if we find something just spectacular, we get it for him. And he buys them when he's out thrifting with me, which he doesn't like to do very much because he doesn't want me bringing any more stuff home. That's a pretty blanket. And then he has a Jeff Gordon room in his house. He likes NASCAR. He likes Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Earnhardt. And he's got all kinds of the cars, coasters, cereal boxes, toothpaste tubes, all kinds of stuff that has anything to do with his favorite drivers. And his brother took the ceiling light and painted it with the hood design of Jeff Gordon's car. And it's really pretty when it's lit up. We didn't light it up for this picture because when we did, it just kind of blinded us and it wouldn't show up very good. But Brad, he loves NASCAR, and he just has collected a lot of it. He also likes Michael Jordan, the Bears, the Cubs, and he does not like the Cardinals. He doesn't like them at all. And I don't know. He likes the Stooges. My husband and all my nephews like the Stooges, and they watch those, and I don't get the Stooges at all. Every time Kevin and Brad see each other, the first thing they say to each other is, certainly, Judgy. And what have I got to lose? And I guess that's something that the Stooges say. But they can laugh so hard at the Stooges. And I've tried to laugh at the Stooges and I don't get it. But they all love it. And they all say all the things that they say and act like them when they're all together. And they have a great time. But he's picked up a few Stooges things along the way. And he loves his home. And he takes really good care of it. It's an old property that we had. And it's on family land. And we're glad that Brad's there. And yeah, he was happy to show us around and let us see all of his pretty deer things and his flowers. He's still got these flowers blooming. And he told me to tell you guys thank you for taking an interest in his house. I said, Brad, I think they'll all enjoy seeing all your pretties. And he keeps everything so nice. We love Brad. So I didn't do a whole lot of thrifting this week. I ran into Restore. They had this, but they didn't have the glasses. I'd really like to have the whole set. I probably should have bought this and hoped to find the glasses, but I've just never seen them out. I see one every now and then, and they're always scratched up bad. This was a cute little flash red ruby deal. I don't know, but it was only $1. But oh, it was in bad shape. It had chips all over it, and some of the paint was missing. And I knew it was really old, but I passed on it. I've got 2 or 3 pieces of that carnival stuff where they used to engrave your name on it. Now, this store had just, I think, received a lot of stuff that didn't sell at an estate sale, and this was absolutely gorgeous. And I'm thinking they wanted $30 for it, maybe 40. I can't remember, but I thought it was a little overpriced for the thrift store, so I passed on it. But there was so much good artwork to look at, it was easy. And if they discount this, I'll go back and buy it if no one does. But I got something fantastic coming up to show you. Like I said, it must have been an estate sale because there was a bunch of tags on the back of these pictures, and they had numbers on them, and it looked like probably the same deal as the tags they've used in a thrift store or in an estate sale. And this is what they had left over, and they brought it to Restore. And they have this great big frame. Now, it's not part of the estate sale. They've had this frame for a long time. It's huge. It's got a piece of glass in it, and the piece of glass is cracked up on the very corner. There's a piece missing. And I've seen it for like 3 months. And the other day I went for it. I said, Kevin, I'm going to get this frame. It's too beautiful to leave behind. And I'm going to fix it up somehow. I kind of don't need another project. You know how I have so many things going on, and I'm always making something and fixing something and redoing something. But it was only $10, and I thought it needed to be saved. It had some problems in the corners, and I knew I could fix that. I've done it lots of times. So I bought it. And I laid it on the freezer when I got home out in our garage, and I ended up using some putty, and I'll show you in a minute how I fixed that. And then I found another picture for $8.50 in a frame. And you can't tell by this little tag, but this was on every one of these pictures. And you could kind of see the price. But see, this store had put their price tag over it. So I was pulling it off real gentle. And I could kind of see, I mean, I really had to look. It was either $18 or $25 probably at the estate sale or wherever these came from. But you know what? When I saw this picture, my heart almost just took a little jump. I thought this little picture of these little kids was gorgeous. It's not a little picture. It's 18 by 22. But I didn't care for the frame. I thought it looked kind of 1970s. But I'm going to give Brad the frame and for his big deer picture. And I looked at this picture, and it looked like a little boy that I know. And the little girl looks like my great niece. And I looked on the back, and it said Hopner, and I looked it up, and it's John Hopner. He was an artist. He painted this in 1803. I don't know if it's the Bowden children or the Bowden children, but I read up on this painting, and apparently he took little neighbor kids and painted them. And he asked them how they would like to look in the picture. And the little girl just snuggled up behind her brother. And the little boy said, I want to be drawing a church. So he made him drawing a little church, and he put a church in the background. I just think it's the most precious story. And of course, I didn't know all this till I got home. But I bought this for $8.50. And I thought, I'll take it out of this ugly frame, which is not really an ugly frame. It's just like 70s. And I'll put it in that big frame. So this is it, just kind of sitting behind that frame. And sure enough, it fit. But it needed to be cut down about a half an inch all the way around so that it would fit in the little groove of the back of the frame. So I got busy, and I took some putty and some glue, and I filled in the cracks on the corner, and I smoothed them out, and I went looking for my gold paints, and I had so many. Now, I probably should have painted the whole inside of that frame a different color gold so it would all match. But I'm going to tell you what, guys. This gold is so pretty, and it looks so old and unique and original. I didn't want to do that. So after the putty dried and I knew the frame was good and secure, I went ahead and used some staples on the back, and it's secure. I mean, it's not going to fall apart. And that little glass piece wasn't a problem at all, because when you put it in the frame, it's way up in the corner, up underneath the one piece, and I wanted to use the original glass because it's a lot nicer than the glass of today. And of course, the one with the little kids had tons of staples around the edge, and you could tell it had been framed for many years. So I went all the way around and took all those staples out, and I put it in that frame just by itself. Now it's just a print, and I think you can tell here the way they made it try to look like a painting. It's like a cardboard print. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to put it in the frame and leave it looking like a painting, or did I want to put it behind the glass? So I put the glass in, and I'll show you in here in a minute. But I got the frame all done, and it had spider webs and everything else. I cleaned it real good. You can just tell how old it is. It's ancient. And I put the little picture of the kids in it. And like I said, I couldn't decide, so I did it without glass, and it looked like a painting. And I loved it so much, but I thought I want to protect it too because it's cardboard and it's going to be up above my fireplace. So I went ahead and put the glass in it, and I really liked it with the glass. And it's got a little piece of wood around the frame that kind of separates the glass from the picture, so there's a little airspace in there, so the picture's never going to get stuck to the glass. And the break in the glass is way up in the corner, and it's real pretty glass. I don't know how to describe the glass. And then I went all the way around it with new hardware in different holes than where the other nails had been, and I was tapping those in so gentle because I didn't want to break that beautiful glass. And I went around it with about, I think I put 3 nails on each side and the top and the bottom, and got it all nice and secure, and the little babies were safe in the frame, and I'm so glad I did it. When I saw this one, I didn't like the frame, and I thought, I have to have that picture. I just have to have it. And then when I realized that it would fit in that big frame, I just couldn't pass it up. And they have the cutest little shoes on, and he's got his little pencil, and he's drawing that church, and the church is in the background. And as you can see, I matched the paint up pretty good. You can't really tell that it's not the original paint, and it looks so pretty up above my fireplace. It's a huge picture, but it's sitting up so high you don't really think it looks that big. I'm talking to Jeffrey Kevin about what I can do about around it, maybe put some plates or some other pictures. So I went out in the garage and cleaned up the frame that the little kid's picture came out of. And I thought, if Brad doesn't like that gold, we can always paint it or, tone it down some with some stain. But I think it's going to be real pretty for his deer picture with the flag behind the deer. I think it's just so pretty. So we're driving again the other day, and we were having such a good time. We were just driving around, just driving. And he said, let's go over by Attica. So we did, and we forgot that they were having Heritage Days, and they were having a carnival down by the river, and they had all kinds of booths set up. So he said, drive out by Taco Bell so we can get a drink. So we did that, and as we were coming back, it was late in the afternoon, so they had yard sales everywhere. And I thought, well, none of them will be that good because it's so late in the day and there's so many people. But we did stop at one big sale. They had a lot of stuff left, and it ended up being where people had donated a bunch of stuff, and it was for some kids to go on some kind of church thing. And we get in there, and the kids said, everything, fill up a trash bag for $1. And if you can't get a trash bag full, it's free. Well, I couldn't get a trash bag full. I just bought a few little things, and I saw this bag of stuff, little kids stuff, and I spotted this little wooden pin in there, rolling pin, and I thought, well, I got to have that. So I got that, and when I got it home, it had all these little things in it, and I thought, well, those would be cute for my grandkids to play with someday. And it had cookie cutters and measuring spoons and stuff, and I just thought I got a good deal because we gave them a donation for what we bought. They said, oh, no, it's free because you didn't get a garbage sack full, but we gave them a donation, and all these little things were from a baking oven, and it reminded me of my little Easy Bake oven that was turquoise when I was a little girl, and I thought, well, I'm real tickled to get those little utensils for the kitchen. And then I got this little candle holder that looks kind of colonial, and I cleaned it up when I got home, and it looked real pretty. And then that's the sale where I got all these little books. And the kids were helping us, the kids that were going on the trip, and they were saying, here, let me carry that for you, and I'll put it in a trash bag for you. And I said, don't get a trash bag started because I can't fill a trash bag. And when I go over to pay, the guy says, or there was a lady, and she says, oh, let's say $1. No, she said free. She said everything's free, and I said, oh, no, you can't do that. And then I got a bingo game that was vintage. It was a 1974, and that's about the years my brother and I would have been playing this kind of bingo game. It was from Ben Franklin. It had been $1.99, and I bought it mainly for the bingo cards because they were so cool looking. And we play bingo sometimes. So I think I'm going to laminate a few of these to use. The ones in the back there aren't as vintage looking. Or I may just keep them the way they are. They're pretty in little displays out in my shop. So I got that. And when you think about it, 74 is pretty vintage. We were just little kids then, and that was a long time ago. It doesn't sound like it, but it was. And I was looking in my little kids cabinet at this little, I showed you that, and I said it's the smallest little butter dish I've ever found. Well, I'm in a cabinet the other day getting some stuff out, and I found a little child-size crystal or glass one that's just the same size. I forgot I had. And it also had a little sugar bowl with it, with no lid, but it's a sugar bowl. So I kind of fibbed to you when I told you I'd never seen a butter dish that small. I had one, and so I set it on the shelf. I'm having a little bit too much fun with this little child's cabinet. I rearrange it about every other day. I just have so much fun with it. I'm just such a child at heart. But this little sugar bowl and butter dish probably has a creamer to go with it. I'll locate it someday in my mess of stuff in my cabinets. There's one back there that could probably match it. But I just decided one shelf was going to be all my little pitchers and creamers and butter dishes, and then another shelf would be the plates and the compotes and the little cordial glasses. And I'm just having fun, guys. It's been so much fun, but I was tickled when I found that little butter dish. I thought, well, I forgot I had this. So I've collected little antique children's dishes for a long time. And if you remember the ugly Santa I bought at Goodwill around 6 months ago, and I just don't like his eyes. I don't like his face. I don't like much about him. So I got him, I decorated him for summer. He's in my kitchen. I put a flag in his hand. So I fixed his face. I'm putting clay on it. And there's the little basket he's carrying. I decorated it up. And my little cottage, I light it up at night, and I think it looks so warm and cozy. And I'm going to have to take you on a tour of the inside of that as soon as I get it all clean. You have to clean a dollhouse just like you have to clean a house, usually with a makeup brush. Okay, I'm home on Facebook. I would love it if you would come on there and talk to me and send pictures of what you're doing. And we can talk back and forth that way. And I have so many more things I want to do. I watched a video this morning and they were showing little pumpkin dolls, and I thought, oh, I got to make one of those. Guys, I have to make something every day. I have to create something every day, and that's why I'm always doing something. But as always, please like and subscribe if you like my content. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you soon with another video.